The first step is to figure out the conclusion of the argument. You see the last sentence here is the conclusion, and you see that this is suggesting that the strategy limits the production of works inspired by it, and therefore the argument is against this strategy here. The second step is to figure out the link between the boldfaces and the conclusion. So how are the two boldfaces linked with the conclusion here? You see the second boldface is the strategy that the conclusion is against, and the first boldface is an observation or a consideration that leads to the strategy talked about in the second boldface. So once again, what is the big picture? The conclusion is against a certain strategy. The second boldface is that strategy, and the first boldface is an observation, a consideration that leads to the strategy in question. So with that groundwork, let's look at the answer choices. See, answer choice E says that the second presents the intended outcome of that strategy. Two problems here. The second boldface is not suggesting an outcome. This itself is the strategy that the argument is against, and the outcome being talked about is anyway not the intended outcome. See, the outcome is something negative here. So answer choice E is not a good answer choice. This should be very comfortably eliminated. Then answer choice D calls the first boldface an assumption, whereas all the other answer choices call it a consideration. So you see, consideration is the correct term for the first boldface. This is something factual in nature. It is an observation, a consideration. It is not something that is an assumption, and therefore the usage of the term assumption here is not correct. Answer choice D should be eliminated. Now it's among A, B and C. Answer choice C says that the first is a consideration that the argument raises to support the strategy that it recommends. No, this strategy is something that the argument is against. The argument is not recommending this strategy, so answer choice C is not correct. It's between A and B now. This is where it gets very interesting. See closely. The first is a consideration, yes, that the argument raises, yes, to argue that a certain strategy is counterproductive. Many students will choose this answer choice thinking that yes, the argument is suggesting that the strategy is counterproductive, but read this clause closely. The first boldface has not been raised to argue that the strategy is counterproductive. The argument overall is suggesting that the strategy is counterproductive, but the first boldface is not suggesting that the strategy is counterproductive. The first boldface is suggesting a reason, an explanation why the strategy in question is popular. The buzzword here is popular. You have to choose between popularity and counterproductive. See, the first boldface does not suggest that the strategy is counterproductive. The first boldface explains why the strategy is popular. A very interesting question, this one of the most difficult you will ever get on the GMAT. It's very close. Answer choice A loses. Let's confirm answer choice B once more. So the first boldface is a consideration. Yes, it is a fine noun consideration for the first boldface. Something like a consideration, an observation is the correct term for this boldface. So the first boldface is a consideration that the argument raises to help explain what? The popularity of a certain strategy. So this first boldface here is suggesting why this particular strategy is popular. So great merit in the first clause here. The second clause here suggests that the second presents that strategy. So yes, the second boldface here is the strategy being referred in the role of the first boldface here as well as in the conclusion here. So the role of the second boldface has also been aptly covered in answer choice B. B is the correct answer choice.